Moshe Rabbeinu is charged with the creation of the Mishkan and all the various Kalim. When it comes to the menorah, this becomes a major, major challenge. You see, the menorah itself was complex, but it wasn't simply the formation of the menorah that was quite so difficult. It was the intentions, the kavanas, everything that went behind it. In fact, it was so difficult that Hashem had to show Moshe Rabbeinu a picture of the menorah made out of fire, because Moshe Rabbeinu could not understand how to form, how to shape the menorah. Therefore, Hashem showed him an image in fire. This is what the menorah should look like. Interestingly enough, after that fact, Moshe Rabbeinu attempted to make the menorah and still was not successful. Rashi explains that he couldn't fathom, he couldn't understand how to make the menorah, at which point Hashem said to him, take your lump of gold, throw it into the fire, and on its own the menorah will come out of the fire. That's in fact what happened. Moshe Rabbeinu took that clump of gold, he threw it in, and out of the fire came the menorah. This Rashi is quite difficult to understand. If Hashem understood that Moshe Rabbeinu could not fathom the depth of the complexity of the menorah, if Hashem understood that Moshe Rabbeinu, with all of his great wisdom, could not understand how to make it, why did he show him the image of the menorah made out of fire? Anyway, Hashem knew that the menorah would have to come out on its own from the fire. Why did he have to show Moshe the image of the menorah made out of fire, and only then did he allow Moshe to throw the clump of gold into the flame? And I believe the answer to this question is predicated on understanding a very basic concept in everything that we human beings do. We human beings are charged with being creative, going about this life, being effective, accomplishing, doing various things. But at the end of the day, there's very little creation that we humans are capable of. Everything that Hashem has created already and has set into motion is guided, directed by Hashem. All of the outcomes are set. Everything that is to be has already been set. We accept the fact that on Rosh Hashanah, Hashem decrees who will live and who will die, how much money a person is to make, their success, their failures. Everything is set on Rosh Hashanah. During the course of the year, my job is to go out there, to do my ishtadlus, to be very vigorous, to go about this life in a particular way. My involvement involves the intentions, my attempts, my desires, but at the end of the day, all of the outcomes are preset by Hashem. And I believe that this understanding is something that Hashem was explaining to Moshe Rabbeinu. When you embark on an endeavor, you have to have a very clear idea of what it is you're trying to accomplish. You also have to know that it is not within your capacity to do it. Moshe Rabbeinu could not understand how to fashion this menorah, but he knew the end goal. He knew the goal was to fashion this particular image. This is what's supposed to come out. His ishtadlus was to do as much as he could. In this case, the most he could do was to take his clump of gold and throw it into the fire. But he could only do that, and that action could only be called on his name when he had a very firm idea of what it is he was trying to accomplish. At the end of the day, all we human beings ever can do is do our ishtadlus. Under some cases, we have a very detailed business plan. In some situations, we can't even go that far. At the end of the day, we have to have a very clear image of what it is we're trying to accomplish, what our end goal is, and then we have to do our ishtadlus, which oftentimes doesn't have all the details worked out. What Hashem was telling Moshe Rabbeinu was, you have to have the image, you have to have the end goal, then go do as much as you can, which in this case was throwing the lump of gold into the fire, and that ultimately is the guidepost. We have to understand all of the outcomes are determined by Hashem. We have to have a very clear vision, and then we do as much as we can in the way of the world to accomplish those goals.